Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Before we begin, if you love K-pop deep dives like this, hit that like button right now, subscribe if you're new, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video, and stay until the end because this might be one of the most controversial conversations we've had on this channel. And when you finish watching, leave a comment, because I genuinely want to know where you stand on this. There's a strange conversation that keeps resurfacing across K-pop fandoms, and what makes it fascinating is that it refuses to stay inside one fandom. It spills across ARMY spaces, Blink spaces, reaction channels, industry conversations, even casual listeners who don't usually agree on much. And the conversation is this: why do some performers feel talented, while a few feel almost untouchable? Not untouchable in the sense of popularity, and not untouchable in the sense of perfection, but something deeper, an aura, a presence, a quality people struggle to define but instantly recognize. And two names keep appearing in that conversation over and over again: Jimin and Lisa. And honestly, the more you study it, the harder it becomes to dismiss. Because maybe what fans are noticing isn't exaggeration. Maybe it's recognition. Think about Jimin. There are great performers, and then there are performers who seem to alter the temperature of a room. Jimin has carried that reputation for years, but what makes it even more compelling in 2026 is that his presence somehow feels sharpened, not softened, by time. You can see it in the way people talk about him during BTS's Arirang World Tour right now, a tour that opened in Goyang on April 9th and spans a record-setting 85 shows across 34 cities. Even in a group of 7 giants, fans still keep describing moments when Jimin seems to freeze entire arenas with a single movement. That kind of language doesn't happen by accident. Because what people react to isn't just technical excellence, it's the way he makes precision feel emotional, the way choreography feels like confession, the way one glance can feel louder than a scream. That isn't ordinary stage presence. That feels closer to magnetism. And then there's Lisa. What's so fascinating is that she produces a similar reaction through almost opposite energy. Where Jimin often feels ethereal and emotionally dangerous, Lisa feels controlled, electric, almost impossibly self-possessed. Yet people keep describing the same effect, that inability to look away. Look at her trajectory recently. From her solo dominance to crossing into even bigger global spaces, to her collaboration with Enema on Bad Angel this April, a release built as both sonic and visual spectacle, she keeps expanding without seeming to chase expansion. That matters. Because stars often grow bigger by becoming louder. Lisa often grows bigger by becoming more distilled, sharper, cleaner, more unmistakably herself. And maybe that's part of what fans mean when they say untouchable. Not unreachable, unmistakable. Because here's something people rarely talk about enough: neither Jimin nor Lisa seems to perform for attention. Attention seems to reorganize around them. That's different. Some performers demand focus. These two absorb it. And I think that may be the first layer of this so-called aura. But the second layer might be even more powerful: duality. Because both of them are built on contradiction, and contradiction creates obsession. Jimin can project softness so profound it almost feels fragile, then move with a level of control and intensity that borders on frightening. His solo success made that even harder to ignore. When Who reached 88 weeks on Billboard's Global Excl. US chart this month, the longest ever for a K-pop solo track, it reinforced something fans already felt: his appeal isn't fleeting. It sustains. And that matters, because longevity is often the truest test of aura. Hype fades. Presence doesn't. Lisa has that same contradiction. She can feel untouchably cool, almost intimidating, and then suddenly playful, warm, chaotic. Luxury and rawness. Precision and instinct. Feminine and lethal. And maybe that's why both of them feel impossible to reduce into one identity. You can't fully predict them, and mystery creates gravity. But here's where this comparison becomes bigger than fandom poetry. What if their aura isn't about being the loudest people on stage? What if it's about making everything else feel quieter? Really think about that. Because that may be the difference between star power and phenomenon. Some artists occupy a spotlight. Some become the reason the spotlight matters. And fans believe Jimin and Lisa belong in that second category. Now here's where this gets controversial. Watch how other performers react around them. Seriously, watch. Award shows. Industry moments. Backstage clips. Collaborations. People notice things, the prolonged stares, the nervous admiration, that tiny hesitation people have around someone whose presence they feel. And some fans believe real aura reveals itself not in audience screams, but in peer recognition. Because crowds can idolize. Peers identify. That's a massive distinction, and it may explain why this conversation won't go away. Because when audiences and fellow performers keep describing two people with almost mythic language, something is happening. Now, none of this means Jimin and Lisa are the only artists with extraordinary presence. That's not the point. The point is that fans believe they embody a very specific kind of presence that feels difficult to manufacture. And maybe they're right. Because here's something else both of them share: obsession with craft. People romanticize charisma as if it appears magically, but what often looks supernatural is actually discipline taken to extremes. And both of them are notorious for that. Jimin's perfectionism has practically become part of his mythology. Lisa's relentless refinement has too. And maybe what fans call aura is sometimes just mastery becoming invisible, when skill becomes so internalized it looks effortless. That's when people start calling someone untouchable. Not because they're above everyone, but because they make excellence look natural. That's much rarer. And then there's identity, and this matters more than people realize. Neither of them seems interested in shrinking to fit expectation. Jimin has consistently turned softness into strength. Lisa has consistently turned individuality into force. And audiences feel that. Authenticity has gravity, even when people can't articulate why, especially when they can't. And maybe this is where the comparison becomes hardest to dismiss. Because when extraordinary talent meets brutal discipline, and discipline meets self-knowledge, and self-knowledge meets fearlessness, you get something beyond performance. You get presence. Maybe even aura. And maybe that aura is what people keep trying to name. Because maybe untouchable doesn't mean perfect. Maybe it means impossible to duplicate. You can imitate choreography, styling, concepts, attitude. But presence born from identity? That's harder. Maybe impossible. And maybe that's why the comparison between Lisa and Jimin keeps surviving. Because people sense something similar beneath all their differences. Not sameness. Resonance. Two very different artists arriving at a similar intensity. And honestly, that may be rarer than fandom even realizes. Especially right now. Because in 2026 both seem to be operating at historic peaks. Jimin in the middle of BTS's biggest tour ever after Arirang launched with record momentum. Lisa expanding her solo mythology into even more experimental territory through projects like Bad Angel. And maybe that timing is why people are talking about this more than ever. Because people notice when greatness sharpens. And both of them feel sharpened. Not nostalgic. Not legacy acts. Sharpened. Which brings me to the thought I can't stop coming back to. Maybe untouchable aura is simply what happens when someone gives so much of themselves to art that performance stops looking performed. Jimin doesn't feel like someone acting charismatic. He feels like charisma expressed through movement. Lisa doesn't feel like someone performing star power. She feels like star power taking shape. And that is exactly why some fans believe they exist in a category of their own. Not above everyone, but undeniably different. And maybe, they're right. But now I want your opinion, and I want honesty. Do you think Lisa and Jimin genuinely share an aura other idols can't replicate? Or is Untouchable just fandom mythology? And who else belongs in this conversation? Taeyong? Jennie? Jungkook? Ahayan? Drop it in the comments because I know this debate is going to explode. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with an army or blink friend because I want to see this discussion everywhere. And don't disappear without commenting, I read them. All of them. Until next time, Purple You. Annyeong.